Just got down to the barn and it's time to start training. Van's already got all the animals separated. So we got Red here who's getting pretty close to being ready to wear a halter. That's exciting. 72 wears a halter and we're starting to play with her legs. It's like she's been taking a nap too. She's all muddy. Other side of her is 12 taking a nap over there. She is wearing a halter. Pretty soon we'll start with leading and her legs. So Elton John is now wearing a halter. He came in after the rest of this crew did. So he's been getting a lot more attention to get him caught up. Richard in the barn. Now yesterday when I worked with him, he was trembling. So today we're going to see how he feels about me being in there. Maybe he was cold. Just recently I've been able to walk up and start to approach Richard. It was very exciting that he let me approach him even while he's not standing up against a wall in the barn. So here we're just going to check to see how quickly I can walk up. Does he need extra time or does he let me approach without himself deciding to leave? Once I am approaching him, it's very important to walk away so they get the biggest release of pressure. And this can happen even if I haven't touched them, just getting them comfortable with me being close to them or in their presence. And then walk away, give them a big release. After we show what Richard's up to, then we will go on to Red, and you can see what I'm working on with Red as well. And there I'm petting him, yay. So I'll keep practicing that with Richard and then start to introduce more touch. I'm also still working on just helping him get comfortable enough to eat from my hand. That will help me later on with some of the other training. Now you can see here, unlike Richard was facing towards me, Red is facing away from me. So I need to go help get him back to being involved with his gentling. In a moment, I'm going to retreat. Watch what he does when I retreat. It's causing curiosity. That's a question I get a lot. How do you get them curious? You get them curious by not acting like a predator that we are. He could be nervous because I'm holding the halter. Now we've already started to introduce him to the halter, but that doesn't mean he's comfortable with it. It's been super duper windy and that could be playing a role in his nerves. But whatever the reason is, it's important just to back up to where he's comfortable again. So we're going to start with target training. And right now he can't say yes to that. I need to work on something he can say yes to so that I'm building from where we were before. But it's important to work with the donkey that you're working with today. Even if he was wearing the halter and leading yesterday, of today, this is how he's acting. Well, this is what we need to back up to. Whenever we do this, we're finding any holes that are in his comfort level, his training, his gentling is where he's at right now. We're creating curiosity, helping him feel safe. Remember, a donkey is always asking, am I safe? And right now he's not sure. Now, if you're at home working with a wild or a domestic or a rescue and your donkey's not ready for touch or accepting you yet, don't sweat it, guys. They will come around, but we need to keep showing them that we're paying attention to every small detail. Donkeys are like underwriters. They always want more information. Now, we're going to get there, but we have to go at the pace that they feel comfortable and safe at. Every time we have a small win, such as being able to approach them without them leaving, you can call that a win. Walk away, give them a release of pressure, and then you can approach them again. This is helping them get used to your approaching. And then after they're comfortable with that step, you could just retreat like a step or turn away just slightly. We'll keep graduating to more and more. But because he's kind of locked up, I'm going to change what I'm doing here in a little bit because I really want to get him more engaged and he's feeling a little locked up right now. Now, if you guys have worked with donkeys at all, you know that once they get locked up, it can be very tricky to get them out of that mindset. And it will take the time that they feel like they need to get out of it. So I'm just going to keep working on getting him more comfortable so that I can get him to be present in the gentling process. Now, when I ask him to target my hand or the halter with his nose, notice him come out of the corner. So he is feeling a little conflicted. He wants to play, but he's scared. So I'm not going to punish him for being scared. I'm going to help him feel comfortable, help him feel safe. The reason I know that he's feeling conflicted is that he'll go over there and face away from me. But then when I ask for his nose, he says, I know that game. I know the answer. Let me come play with you. Now, when he does that, I'm starting to build up his confidence. Every time I can ask him a question and he knows the answer to it, he is going to feel more confident and more willing to try. And that's the biggest part that we need right now, is for him to be willing to try so that we can keep growing with his gentling. And then later on, training the basic things, which include wearing a halter, accepting touch, picking up all 4 feet, leading, and going into the trailer. That's what we're working towards with Red. Now, if you're working with a wild or a domestic, know that the younger ones often will become engaged and friendly quicker, but then training takes longer because they have a baby brain. And then if you're dealing with the older one, getting that trust can take longer. But training goes quicker because they already have a mature brain and they can already have some coping skills. Now, with that being said, if you're working with a rescue that has a poor background, maybe whether they were, kind of neglected or even worse, now those donkeys, it's going to take even longer. And it's because they're set in their ways of what works, how to evade or fight. And they're going to keep doing that until we give them enough of a history with a good thing so that we can kind of rewrite their mindset. Is a little bit what we're trying to do there. Rewrite their mindset so they can feel comfortable and confident around people. And we don't need them just to be comfortable around us. Like, that's not all that we need. We also need them to be able to be calm and confident around our vet and our farrier, because they need to be able to have their feet done, and they also need to be able to have their vet work done, which requires a stranger being close to them. And right now, as you can see, Red wouldn't be ready for that. So here I'm going to try to be getting him to come forward towards me, because then he's saying yes, that I want to be engaged. Now you see, he's not turning around into the corner. He's still facing me. Part of that is because I move further away from him. So now he views me as a predator, but he says you don't match what a predator does. So he's a little confused, but he's still overwhelmed. Donkeys tell you how they're feeling. Watch what happens next. Now, it's always kind of funny when they were doing good and now they're not. You see how there he just turned in a circle, walked around in a circle? That's more confliction. He's moving his feet. I'm pleased with that. With him moving around, at least he's thinking, and we want to reward that thinking. So now each time he walks up to me to target the halter with his nose, I'm going to give him pay. Now, if you guys have been watching me for very long, you know that I use a lot of pay at this stage of gentling. And the pay that I use is rolled or crimped oats. I also use Timothy hay pellets or a low-starch grain. Now, donkeys don't do well with much extra food. We give them hay, like a grass hay. And then after that, like once they're trained, they don't get a lot of treats, guys. They don't get a lot of pay, as I call it. But at this stage, I'm just trying to find a way to get them to want to be involved with me. And the pay works good. So right now, the rolled or crimped oats, low starch grain, or Timothy hay pellets, those are the things that I like to use. And then later on, this stuff will get weaned off. So even though, to start off with, I'm going to pay him a whole slew while I'm just putting his halter on, later on, he's not going to get any pay at all for putting a halter on. And that's something that people don't always understand, is that pay does not continue forever. Later on, they'll have to do more to get pay. Now, the only thing that I've ever used pay for longer would be dealing with their feet when the farrier is over, because I'm still working on making sure that all of those sessions go really well. It's not our vet or our farrier's job to train their feet or train them to be able to get a shot or sedation. We need to work on that lots on our own so that they're comfortable when the vet or farrier comes over. So that's going to be lots of work on our part to make sure that they understand what we're asking and that they're comfortable, and for having their feet trimmed, that they can balance on 3 feet. We don't always think about that, but that's one of the things. They need to have an understanding of how to balance. Donkeys really like their balance. They're extremely sure-footed. So that's why we're working on gaining this trust, and that's why I'm willing to go so slow with this stage of everything. I guess I always go at the speed that the donkey is able to go, but there's reasoning behind it, guys, and that's because I want this to be lasting for the donkey. I want them to have confidence in humans, and I want them to be able to enjoy and appreciate being around us. Now, there's going to be lots more to come with these guys. We had 20, 6 have left, 1 more just graduated, and I have 2 more that are getting ready to graduate. So stay tuned. We'll have lots of more videos showing you the different steps with gentling. If this helped you understand your donkey a little better, consider joining our memberships. I share deeper step-by-step training each week.